Hey everyone, welcome back to another review on my channel. For this week's video we are going to be taking a first look at the new Focallure, I still can't pronounce their name but I still love them. It is their new Impressionism palette that they sent to me. I was very excited when this arrived, mainly because I loved their other palette so much, the Sweetest Honey eyeshadow palette I reviewed a few months ago. If you haven't seen that video I'll link it above. But I was very excited for this palette mainly because I literally fell in love with that one so much. It is one of like my favourite ones, like up there with my Morphe 350 palette. I hate to admit it, but it is kind of true. But the two palettes, you can't really compare them. The Sweetest Honey eyeshadow palette was a mix of metallics and matte shades, whereas this is just matte shades, but the colours are just, I've never had a palette like it, so I was very excited to try it out. As you can see, I used it to create the eyeshadow look I'm wearing today. Focallure were also kind enough to send me a few of their velvet matte lipsticks as well to try, so that is what I used to finish off this look. Just so you guys are aware though, I'm not affiliated with them, I'm not sponsored by them whatsoever, but they have provided me with a discount code for if you guys do want to try any of the products out. So yeah, that is what we're going to be doing in this video today. If you want to see what I thought of the eyeshadow palette and of the liquid lipsticks, then make sure to keep on watching. Okay guys, so I've already prepped my eyes off camera. I used my fan favourite NYX eyeshadow base. I always use this. I just put some of it over my eyelid and then I set it with either a loose powder or kind of like a neutral tone eyeshadow. So I'm going to go in now with the Impressionism palette and get started, I guess. I mean, I'm just looking at this and the possibilities with this one are endless. I loved the last one and I am already loving this one, even though it's matte, which I don't actually tend to do a lot of matte eyeshadow, but oh, okay, that was stuck to my hand. Get off, get off, get off. I'm obsessing over this mirror as usual. I mean, it's just great. So I'm going to start off by going in with a fluffy crease brush, and I think I'm going to use Butter just as a kind of transition shade in my crease. The first thing I want to say is I have only gently tapped into this one shadow pan and it has gone everywhere. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of like started to powder off and go into the other shadow next to it, which is a completely different shade, so I don't really want those two to mix, so I'll just blow it. But I mean, just tapping into it, it is quite powdery. So after just applying this now, I've come to realise that the shade Butter is actually very close to my actual skin tone, so it probably wasn't the best idea to use as a transition shade. So I'm going to go in with the shade Pumpkin Pie and then hope that I have a bit more luck. Whoa, this is like a neon. I have to say it is way more pigmented on the lid than it is in the pan. It is doing that kind of like dusting thing where it's going everywhere a little bit in the palette, but there's nothing that just blowing it away can't fix. Before I forget as well, I'm just going to put some Vaseline on my lippos just to make sure that they are prepped ready for the liquid lipstick that I'm going to try as well later on in the video, just to finish off the look. So next I think I'm going to go in with dark charcoal using the same brush, just tapping it into the pan gently. There is a lot of fallout coming off of these, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm just going to use that shadow to kind of deepen the crease and mixing it with that shade Pumpkin Pie. One thing that I remember from the review I did on the other Sweetest Honey palette, the shadows are really pigmented. Like, some of them you do really need to build and others you don't. These two shades that I've picked, you definitely need to make sure you're careful with them because they are so pigmented. Like, I have a feeling that these are kind of like so pigmented that they will probably stain my brushes, so I need to make sure I actually remember to wash them straight afterwards. I mean, looking at this in the viewfinder, I haven't got my glasses on so I can't really see, but I mean, it looks quite pigmented. I can see colour on my eyelid, which is always a good sign. Next, I'm going to go in with Merlot and just kind of like add a little bit more colour to the crease, tapping away the excess. This one isn't as fallouty as the other ones. Just going in, deepening the crease and kind of bringing it down to the centre. Okay, so next I think I'm going to go into Red Sangria with a soft definer brush and kind of pop that on the outer section of my eyelid, just to help deepen it up and bringing it down towards my lash line also. I must say I am actually very much enjoying the choice of shades that I've picked for this eyeshadow look today. Now I think I'm going to go into the shade Dark Cocoa with a kind of like petite crease brush and just pat that onto the outer V of my eye just to deepen the crease even further. Just going to pat it on there and then blend it away with another brush. Then I'm going to go back in now with that soft crease brush that we started off with, and with a little bit of pumpkin pie just on there to help blend it all out. So now I'm going to go in with a clean fluffy blending brush just with a little bit of that shade Pumpkin Pie on there just to help diffuse the outer corner and edges of the shadow and just help it blend a little bit more seamlessly. On the whole, the shadows are good, they're really pigmented and everything like that, but I just have noticed that in some areas there is a little bit of dryness to my eyelids, whether that be just my eyelids or if that is actually the shadows themselves. I'm not really sure, just because at the moment my skin is so all over the place, I can't really tell. So lastly, I'm going to use a smudger brush just to apply some of the Dark Cocoa shade to the outer corner of my bottom lash line. I think I'm going to go in with the Merlot shade and just kind of apply it sort of a little bit towards the inner corner. Okay girls and boys, so that is it for the eyeshadow look. Normally I would go in with like a shimmery highlighter shade and apply it to my inner corner and on my brow bone, but unfortunately, as this is a completely matte eyeshadow palette, I won't be doing that today. So I'm going to remove the lip balm that I've actually got on my lips at the moment, ready to try one of these very exciting looking liquid matte lipsticks. As you can see, I've got 3 shades here. I've got VO1 Persian Red, VO9 Pansy Purple, or VO6 Dark Coral. I think I'm going to go with the VO9 Pansy Purple today. Remove my lip balm from my lip pose and we will get right into it. Okay everyone, so as you can see, this is the finished look. I went in and applied that liquid lipstick and I have to say I'm absolutely loving it. I went in and applied it, it was so easy, it was really pigmented as well, there was no patching whatsoever, there was more than enough product on that one dip of the doe foot applicator to cover your lips and then some. I was half debating removing this one and then trying out the other ones because I got that excited, but I thought in the long run I would save my lips just because at the moment, with the current weather situation in the UK, it is so cold, my lips are dry, crispy, thirsty. I just thought I'm not going to do it to myself and suffer in the long run, so unfortunately I'm not going to show you the other ones today, but I would definitely recommend giving those a go if you are looking for an affordable liquid lipstick that is just like great, ticks all the boxes in all areas. Now moving on to the Impressionism palette, guys, I have to say I am really loving this palette. I have very high expectations given what the last palette was like. The Sweet as Honey eyeshadow palette is literally one of my absolute favourites. This palette is completely different, it is made up of all matte shades. I also feel like as well they've kind of, I don't know if this is my eyes doing this or whether or not they actually did this on purpose, but I feel like they've kind of set out the shadows in a way that help you create eyeshadow looks as well. So say these first 2 rows, for example, as you can see there's 5 shades here that you could use quite easily to do an eyeshadow look. The same with this one, and then there's this one here as well. You can either mix it up or you can use it in those kind of like orders, I guess. That may just be me kind of like using my little brain to put stuff together. You can take credit for it if you did, and if you didn't, you can take my idea if you want to. So yeah, the only bad thing that I will say about this palette is that some of the shadows are kind of dusty. Like I said, for example, with the Butter shade or the Pumpkin Pie shade, they were really dusty and there was a lot of fallout which went into the other shadows, but obviously that can be quite easily fixed with blowing it away. However, when I applied it on my lid, there wasn't really much fallout into my eyelash extensions or anything like that, so I'm not mad about that whatsoever. It's just kind of like literally just suck it up, blow it away and you're good to go. Out of all of the shades that I used in this palette, I would say my favourite is definitely Pumpkin Pie, just because it was kind of a little bit of a surprise for me. It is a very kind of like normal looking pale orange in the pan, but when you actually apply it to your lid, it's kind of like a crazy neon colour. As you saw, I was a little bit shook. And if you guys want to try it as well, like I said, there is a discount code that will be listed in the description down below for you, just so you get a little bit of money off. And like I said, I'm not sponsored by them, literally they were just really nice and just decided to send it to me, and if you guys wanted to try it, they're giving you a discount code there too. So So that is it for this week's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up or leave a comment down below. Everything that I've shown to you will be listed in the description down below product wise. I'll leave a link to my channel over here in case you want to go over and subscribe, but do not forget to hit that bell for notifications to be told every time I post a new video. And I'll leave a couple of previous links over here in case you want to carry on watching. Thank you so much for spending your time with me this week. I really do appreciate it so much. I hope you have a super lush weekend as always, and I will see you again next week for another video. Bye!